Hey everyone, I'm Riley and welcome back to my UX lab, and today we're in Niedervern, Germany. Today we're starting step 8 of our Airbnb rebuild, and we're tackling the dome part of Airbnb's bell icon for their header. There are quite a few details here with gradients and color stops, so we're going to focus just on the dome today, and then in the next step we'll finish it off by building the base of the bell. So let's get started. Alrighty, to start off with the bell, we'll do the top portion of the dome metal piece. So using our rectangle tool, hitting R on the keyboard for that, we'll drag and just drop a shape. Then we'll change the dimensions to a 28 by 12, and we'll change just the top two corners to 30 and 30. Now we need to add a stroke to this, so we'll hit plus here. We want it to be inside with a weight of 0.1, and then we'll change the fill color to 304152. Now we need to change the fill color for these, so hitting the square here and changing it to gradient. We'll keep it at linear with 2 stops. We won't change the percentage positioning. So this first fill color is going to be 2B323A at 100%, and the second one is going to be 66778A at 100% as well. So now we actually need to add a second fill color. It's also going to be a linear gradient, and it needs 2 stops. We will be changing this first position for the percentage to 20, and then that fill color is FBFCF8 at 100%. And then we'll keep this one here at 100% for the position, and we'll change that gradient to 83909D at 100%. Now this is the part we haven't done for these fills yet. We'll change the overall fill percentage to 85 just for that second one we made. This next part is a little hard to maybe explain, so I'll do my best so that you can follow along and make it easy. We'll open up this fill color again, and we want this first stop here from the gradient to be moved down 1 pixel. So we'll grab that and move it down, and then we want it to be 8 pixels in from this corner side here to the right. So if we count, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If we go up, it's right here on this corner, so we'll just move that over here, and you can see the gradient now is diagonal rather than right up and down. For the second stop, we want it to stay in line with the bottom of this shape so far, but we want it to be 1 pixel out from this corner to the left. So we'll just grab it and we'll drop it over there, and that helps our gradient be nice and bright over here and a little bit darker here on the left side. With the fill colors complete, we'll add an effect. We'll hit plus here and we'll change it to an inner shadow. We need to change the X position here to a -8. The Y will be a -1. The blur will stay 4, and the spread will stay 0. We'll change the fill color now to a 303D4A, and we'll change it to 100%. Next up, we need to make an ellipse, so hitting O on the keyboard for a shortcut and dragging a shape. We'll change it to a 4.5 by 5, and if you click out of it or hit enter, it does change it to a 5 again. I don't know why, so if you happen to know, maybe drop it in the comments and help me out for the future, but we'll change this back to a 4.5, and then we'll rotate it 90 degrees. We'll center align it within our shape, and then using the left arrow on the keyboard, 1, 2, 3 times to the left to put it into place. With our ellipse in place, we need to change the fill color to white. The hex code for that is all Fs, so if you hit F 1 time and hit enter, it will autofill the rest of them for you, and then we need to change the percentage to 1. The last thing we need to change on this ellipse is adding a drop shadow effect. So hitting the plus, it preloads drop shadow for us. The X will stay 0, the Y will be 0, and then the blur will change to 2. Spread stays 0, and then the color is going to be white. So hitting F and enter will change the percentage to 100. And then the last step for that is selecting show behind transparent areas. Really quick, I noticed that I said the second fill we made for this is going to be a linear gradient. We actually want it to be a radial gradient. So it's a quick fix. We just change this here to radial. It does look wonky at first, but if you zoom in, we just move this point here to this like corner pixel joint, and everything else stays the same. So if you followed along so far and have been building with me, I apologize. It's a quick fix, but if you haven't done it yet, change it to radial from the start and everything else will stay the same. This upper dome section of the metal bell is done, so we need to select both the ellipse and the dome shape, and then we'll hit Command or Control if you're on Windows, G, to group it together so that it moves as one. With the top portion of the metal piece of the bell done, we need to add the bottom portion of the metal. So hitting R on the keyboard for a rectangle tool and dragging, we'll now change the dimensions to a 32 by 3, and then changing just the top corners again would make both of those 20. For this, we need to add a top stroke only. So we'll hit plus and then we'll come here to the square and change it to top. We want it to be inside, and then we want to change the weight of that to a 0.5. And then we'll change the stroke color to 3D 4F62 at 100%. Okay, we can now change the fill color for this. It's going to be a radial gradient, and I promise it's a radial. We want it to be 2 stops, and this first stop is going to be 0% first, and then the fill color will be F3F2EE at 100%, and the second one will stay 100% here, and the fill for that is 5A646E, also at 100%. Now we need to rotate this gradient 180 degrees. We want to use this rotate rather than flip, because if we use flip, it will make stop 1 in stop 2 position and stop 2 in stop 1 position, and we don't want that. So using this rotate, we'll use 1 for 90, 2 for 180, and these stay in their proper position. Zooming back in so we can see better, we now need to move stop 1 here 5 pixels to the left and a half pixel down. So we'll drag here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a half pixel makes it right on this line. Now we need to move stop 2 5.5 pixels to the left from this corner line here. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5 right here in this square, and then we want it to be aligned with the top of our shape here, which is right on this line. With the radial gradient done, we now need to add an inner shadow effect. So we'll hit plus and we'll change it to inner shadow here. And we'll change the X position to 3, Y will be 0, blur stays 4, and spread stays 0. And then the color is 3C4F63 at 100%. With the shadow and fill done, we can now move this center aligned and 1 pixel overlapping the top dome piece of the metal. And then we can select it all and Command G or Control G and group it together. The last thing for today is creating one more rectangle. So hitting R on the keyboard and dragging, we'll change it to a 2.5 by a 1. And then we'll move that into a place center aligned here, and we'll change the fill color to 1E, 1E, 1F at 100%, and we are done. And that's a wrap on step 8, building the dome part of Airbnb's bell icon, making sure we know the gradient and the color stops to really match Airbnb's design as closely as possible. In step 9, which is the next step, we'll finish the bell by building the base to pull it together as one icon. If you found this helpful, leave a like, drop a comment, especially if you've been building along with me. I'd love to hear how it goes. And as always, don't forget to subscribe so you're ready for the next step. Thanks for being here, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.